Hello friends, today we are going to learn about SQL injection. The topics we would cover are what a SQL injection is, what is the impact of SQL injection, the types of SQL injection and how we can prevent SQL injection. So let us start with what SQL injection is. SQL injection is a web vulnerability where an attacker is able to modify the SQL queries that the application sends to the server. By modifying the SQL queries, an attacker is able to view the data to which normally he doesn't have access to. In some cases, an attacker may be able to edit or delete the records, which may, badly impact the application and its availability. So as we have already said that using SQLi attack, an attacker is able to view data. So the impact would be that an attacker can get access to other users' data, which may include personal data as well as the PCI data like credit card information. So there are multiple types of SQLi attacks. The major one would be like where attacker is able to view hidden information. The second one would be where an attacker is able to modify the application logic. The third attack is union attack, using which the attacker is able to get information of the other tables of the database. The last attack is blind attack, blind SQL attack. In this attack, the attacker is not able to view the response of the SQL queries. However, based on certain differences, he is able to, guess what the data might be. So friends, now let us check how SQL injection actually works. So for this video, we would be using Python. So I already have a Python code, and now we would try to, do some SQL attacks using it. As you are able to view, we are using SQLite 3 database, okay? And as per the comment, we are taking the user input as ID, and then this would be our SQL statement. In this SQL statement, we are taking the books with the ID which we receive as the input, and the view is Y. The status of view is Y, okay? So now let me execute this code for you. And we would put ID 1. And now here you are able to see that we are able to get the data. Now we would again execute it and we would put 2. So as you are able to see, we have not received the data. The reason being the view status may be N here. Okay, so basically 2 ID, the record for ID 2 is hidden using the view where condition. Now if we look at this statement, we are simply using a concatenation. So here if we put the value of A, if we put A equals to 1, in this case our statement would be like ID equals to A and view equals to Y, okay? Now suppose if we put A equals to 1 and then a single quote, okay? If we know the basic SQL syntax, if there is multiple single quotes, then we will get error. So we will just try using this. So here I would simply put 1 and then single quotes. And now as you are able to view that we have received error here, okay, and it is stating that there is an illegal operator. So basically there is a single quote there. So in this code we are able to confirm that there may be SQL injection, okay? So now what we will do is, basically we have tried to use single quotes and we have verified that SQL injection is there. Now what we want is, we want hidden data. So basically we want to end the SQL statement right here, okay? As we already know that for SQL, hyphen is, we can comment using hyphen. Is we will put A equals to 2, okay? And we do not want this, so maybe we will simply end it here using hyphen. as everything after hyphen would get commented out. So this code would get commented out. Okay. So let us try this now. So we put 2 and then hyphen hyphen. So as you are able to see, we are able to get this data here now. Okay. So even though we have view equals to n, we were able to get this record. So this is how SQL injection works. In this case, we are able to get the hidden value, basically the hidden records, by simply commenting out the remaining part of the query. So now let us check the second type of SQL attack. In our first case, we have learned how an attacker is able to view the hidden information. Now we would be learning the second use case where an attacker is able to bypass the application's logic. So in this case, what we have done last time was we had put id equals to 2 and then used hyphen to comment out the remaining part of the query. So we were able to get the book. So we were able to get the records of the book even if it was hidden using the where condition of view. Now, in this second case, we want to alter the application's logic and get all the records of the books. So how we can do it is, we can put I equals to 2 and then we can use Boolean expression or 1 equals to 1 and then comment out the remaining code. So here what will happen is I equals to 2, this one, or 1 equals to 1. As we already know, for all condition, if anything is 2, then the whole condition is evaluated to 2. And so we would simply get all the books of the records. So now let us execute our code. Now we would simply run our code and we would put 2 or 1 equals to 1 and then hyphen hyphen. So as you are able to see, now we are getting the record for all the books, okay, irrespective of the IDs or the value of the view. So this is how an attacker is able to, alter the logic. So now let us check a real life example, okay. So friends, we have seen how an attacker is able to bypass the application logic using all statement, okay. So now let us look at a real life example. So as you are able to see, this is a website where we are able to view the details of a product. So there is a my account section and in my accounts, there is the login is based on username and password. So what we will do is we will try to put usernames. Maybe I will put administrator. We have put administrator and we would try to put password admin and we would try to log in. So as you are able to see, it says invalid username password. So again, we will put administrator and we would put a single quotes and we would again put admin and try to log in. As we are able to see, we are getting internal server error. We can say that the application may be vulnerable to SQL injection. So what we would do is we would simply try to say administrator single quotes or 1 equals to 1, okay, and then double hyphen, and then we can put any password and then we would try to log in. As we are able to see, we are able to log in using administrators. So must have happened, we can simply say that the logic for login was like username user equals to and then again str password, okay. So what we have done is in this variable of str user, we simply put user with a proper value that is administrator or 1 equals to 1 and then simply we closed it.
So in this case, even if we have not put this one, this would have already worked, because here itself we are, so here itself we are, commenting out this part of the query. So this is how, using comments or all condition, an attacker is able to, bypass or maybe alter the application logic, and then he is able to log in.
So in the last attack, we have seen how an attacker is able to get additional information or bypass the application logic. In this attack, which is union attack, we would try to get the data from other tables. As you are able to view, in this database, we have three tables: books, employees, and users. Books is the table which we are accessing from our code. Select star from books, and we have like ID, title, the date of birth, and the view flag. Similarly, we would try to check the users table from users. Okay, so we have email ID and the name. So just to get the details of the user, we know that there are three columns: name, email, and view. So we would try to use this table users. In this case, we would try to put something like to 1 and then union, select name, comma, email from users. Okay, and then we would use a, and then we would use hyphen hyphen. Okay, so this would be our payload. So whatever data we are putting to do SQL attacks, this is called payload. Okay, so let us try this now. First, we would try to put just a correct payload 1, and then we are able to get only one record. So now we would put the payload as 1 and then union, select name, comma, email from users, and then double hyphen. So as you are able to view, we were able to get two records here. One record is from the books table and the second record is from user table. So this is how an attacker is able to get data from other tables as well. So now let us look at a real life example. In this website, we are able to search based on the categories that we want. So now we would try to search for gifts. Okay, and now here in the gifts we are getting the details only for gifts. Okay, so we would try to put a single quote and we are getting error. So we can say that yes, there may be SQL attack possible. So what we will do is we will try to use a union attack here and then say union, select username, password from users. Okay, now if we look at the record, we are able to get the details. This is the data from the user table, username and password. So maybe we can try this one now, administrator, and then we would try to put its password. So as you are able to see, we were able to log in using the administrator. So friends, this is how we can, use union based attacks to gain the details of other tables. Just a disclaimer guys, do not, do not use any of these payloads in production websites or maybe to applications where you do not have access to. Let us now look at our code. Here we have simply said that A is equals to ID equals to A, where A is the user input. So there were two mistakes here. The very first one is we are using concatenation. Okay, so we should never use concatenation statements. We should always use parameterized queries. And the second and most important is should always validate the user input. Based on our validation, we should sanitize the user input and then use it in our queries. So now let us check on how we can remediate this. So as we are directly using the user input here, so we are taking a from user and we are directly using it in our query string. We should always do a validation for any data that is either coming from a user, a database, an API, or any other data source. And based on the validation, we should do a sanitization. So now let us modify our code. So what we would say here is and say if a dot is numeric, then print id is a number. Okay, else we would say print id is not a number. Okay, so we would now execute our code and we would say id equals to 1 and we are getting the data. Now we would try to put a payload, using 1 and then a single quote. As you are able to see, we got id is not a number. Okay, so this was a validation, and so all this code, so this would simply go in our if condition. Okay, and also in our else we would close our cursor, enter 1 and single quote. And now as you are able to see, we were able to prevent SQL injection. So always do a validation for any of the untrusted data. Untrusted data may include data coming from a user, coming from a database or any of the file system, any of the APIs. Okay, and based on the validation, we can do sanitization, or maybe we can do steps like whether to execute the statements or not. So this was one way. And the second method that we should do is, basically what we should not do, we should never use concatenation statements. Okay, so here we have simply done concatenation. Okay, instead of that, we should always use parameterized queries. Okay, so in Python we can use parameterized queries, and so this is how we use parameterized queries. So friends, this is how an SQL attack works, and whatever payloads we have learned, kindly do not use them in any of the applications where you are not authorized to do it. Kindly let me know your feedback so that I can improve my videos. Also let me know any of the security topics that you would like me to cover. Thank you friends.